Hello, Flash Dagger here, bringing you a very different type of video, one I certainly did not expect to be making, but this morning we went live on stream and we happened to put in provisional third place in the world, so I have a little bit of pace here and it's a track I'm very familiar with. I thought, what the hell, let's just make a track guide and see if we have something to offer, a new way of describing, a new perspective on some of the corners, and maybe help some people out. Obviously, I use track guides myself. Mr. MCA, Key, Digit, I think Danny Racing is making track guides as well also. Absolutely check theirs out as well. I'm sure they have great information for you. But this is mine, so without further ado, let's jump into the track guide. So as you can see, and you probably already know, hence wanting to watch this video, we're at Laggo Maggiore West End. Very short little track. Easy to learn, maybe difficult to master, but let's try and look at some of the details that can help you master some of those corners. In the group 3, I've chosen the 911. In fact, I didn't choose it, it was chosen for me by my chat in the live stream. It's a car I'm not very familiar with, but one I would highly recommend having now driven it, given it stability in some of these corners. The gearing is very simple and it will help you navigate some of those trickier corners and exits. You can see on the screen also that the goal time is around a 52.5 seconds and a very fast time is low 51s, even creeping into the high 50s. So let's have a look at the lap itself in its raw form. So we're going to look at all camera angles, hood, bumper and chase for the braking points. So up into 5th and looking for the 75 meters, just between the 100 and the 50, and getting onto the brakes now. You can see that from each perspective, how it looks for you. And we're just going to drop it down to 3rd and coast our way into this apex. Could have taken a little bit more curb here actually on reflection. And then we're getting onto the power. Feel free to feather that power, but get yourself out wide. We stop it there and drop the 2nd. Looking at the end of the curb, that's your turn-in point. Dab the brakes, but really this is all about coasting. Coasting in, look, no inputs, none at all. Coasting for better rotation. Taking the curb, then fully onto the power in 3rd, right the way out, taking another piece of that curb, and then up to 4th. Now, this sector is massively important. We'll stop it right there. So the reason I want to take a bit more time to talk about this section is it is a section. It's sequential corners, it's a combination of corners. You get one wrong, you're going to get the second one wrong. So we need to get this right. It's about setting up your exit to that hairpin. It's massively important. So the braking for me is just as that black box on the top right hand side comes into focus. Now, let's take a little look at how it looks when you get it wrong. So we're actually on a really good sector 1, believe it or not. We do the right things here, we drop the 3rd, but we're just carrying too much speed. We're far too far right at this stage. Totally compromised our exit and didn't get in the brakes early enough. But back to the actual lap. So in hood cam, you can see the braking, again in bumper and in chase. This is where you're starting your braking. So you're going to drop the 3rd gear, and you can see a little bit of adjustment trail braking just to get your left wheels on that curb for rotation. Now this is massively important. Full lock left, hanging as much left as possible. You can see we just pause it there. This is massively important. So watch this from each perspective. This happens really fast. So that was it at full speed. This is it slowed down. Keep your focus on the braking inputs and the steering angle opening up. You will see they're an absolute parallel. The moment that we hit fully opening up the steering inputs to the center point is the exact moment that we hit 100% braking. It's a small detail, but it's massively important for this combination of corners. Why is that? Because we need to stabilize this car. The car had all its weight shifted to the right hand side. If we start braking with a lot of weight transfer on the right hand side, or with steering inputs still fully to the left, we can start a slide. We want to stabilize the car before we initiate the steering lock to the right hand side to bring ourselves in for this hairpin. So let's see how that looks. So we're still on 100% braking. We're going to drop to 1st with full lock on the right hand side, easing off those brakes to coast into that apex, and it's at this point that we've frozen it is exactly when we're beginning to get on the throttle. Throttle control out of this corner is going to be massively important, but as long as you've set yourself up with the right line into the corner, as wide as possible on the left hand side, you're going to get yourself a good exit. Let's see how we do that. So you will have seen that there was no sound whatsoever. Look at the inputs, 50%, 90%, stage 2, 100%. The reason we do that is it gives us significantly better traction. So we'll watch it again at full speed, but listen, there's no tire squeal whatsoever. We had full traction exiting that corner. And if you're still with us at this stage, really appreciate you taking the time to watch. This is my very first track guide. Hope you're enjoying it, and maybe you would consider subscribing or liking the video, maybe sharing it with someone you think it might benefit. As for that, let's get back and finish off probably the most famous corner on this track, and the one that people tend to get wrong. I'm going to show you how to do it right. So as we approach Big Banky Boy, we're looking at the end of this wall and the end of the curb. We're going to start initiating braking right in the center of it. You can see that from the different perspectives. We're initiating braking, and by the time that we get to the end of the curb, that's when we'll be on full brakes. Now this is very important. You can look at the other angles. We're now about to set up the corner, and there's a way to do this. There's a different approach, but let's look at it. So the big thing that you want to think of when you're approaching Banky Boy is the curb is not your apex. The edge of the curb is not your apex. I've marked it here so you can see. That is not where we're going. The actual apex is the grass itself on the inside. It's a weird shaped curb, kind of like an oval. And that curb is the entire width of a full car, so it's got to be 2 meters wide. By taking the grass as our apex and taking a late apex, so using the banking to come down across, we can get onto the power and the throttle so much earlier and carry so much speed up the hill. But let's take a little look at what happens when you take that curb line, that curb apex. So drop into second, and you can just see we're coming in, taking the curb as the apex on full power. But it's caused us to run wide. Therefore, the grass line as the grass apex gives us that additional couple of meters of width to power out from the apex with confidence, as you will see now. So we've dropped to third, and we're just coasting in, dropping to second, and the minute that we get off the brakes, at this point right now, we are now on the throttle. You can see how early that is in chase cam. Look at how early that is. We are now on the throttle, planning our exit from the corner before we've even hit that grass apex. So we can see that now in my hood cam, and you can just see the pace you carry right out wide and how early you get on, how much speed you carry there. Again, in the chase cam, that's the apex, that's how late it is, and that's how narrow and how close into the inside you are, and you just power it out. So we'll wind it back and watch that entire sequence around Banky Boy in real time. We'll bring it up to the line, and at the end of this, we're going to watch the entire lap with no stops in real time, cut from the live stream with real-time reactions. There's a very funny reaction at the end where I wasn't even aware I got in P3 in the world. I think you'll enjoy that. But this is Flash Stagger, and as Charles Peralta would say, please consider subscribing if you've learned something.
Like, not to miss the apex in sector 1 though. Boom. Boom. Where does that put us? Woo, 5-star roulette. that exit, that first gear exit was absolute magic, and Banky Boy is my corner. I knew I've got Banky Boy better than some of the fast guys. Okay, where we at? Okay, like 1/10 off the world record. We'll take that. What? Third in the world? Are you serious? Third in the world? Get in. That's worth a like and subscribe. Oh my goodness.